Customer issues, post office issues, sales slowing down. Are we being punished by eBay? Hey guys, welcome back. So this is what, video 5, I think, of the consistency challenge. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself. Things were moving along really nicely, and now sales have slowed, but not so coincidentally, maybe. Sales have slowed as we have gotten so many returns in. Currently, we have had 10 returns in the month of June alone. That's probably more than I had in the last 3 months before that combined. Everybody is returning everything, and for various reasons. Thankfully, I have customer pays for returns. None of these were INADs, otherwise known as items not as described. These were all buyer changed their mind or doesn't fit. So I want to dive into the returns and, just talk about it. So 4 of the returns have already been returned and processed. So I was just going to give you an idea of some of them. I have the return slips here. Someone purchased a Karen Scott sweater from me. It was a size 3X. It was a really big, bulky sweater. It was a clearance item. They actually lost money by shipping it back to me because once they shipped the item back to me, I refunded them their money, but they paid more than that for the return label. So when all was said and done, they actually lost money by returning it. They could have kept it, had the sweater to even resell or give away, and saved themselves, like 57 cents, I think it was. I had a Chico's dress be returned. She said it was way smaller than her other Chico dresses, size 3, but as usual, I provide all the measurements. The customers just choose not to look at them. I had a Ralph Lauren black blazer be returned, also for doesn't fit, too small. Once again, the measurements were in there. The latest one I refunded just yesterday was a very expensive Build-A-Bear that was a retired Halloween kitty one. So purchased the item for $107, received the item, opened a return case saying that it was purchased with the wrong credit card. So they bought another one with the right credit card. Now they wanted to return this one. But when I actually got the item back, it came with this note that said, sorry, I didn't approve child's purchase. So who knows which is the truth and which is not. Luckily, it came back in excellent condition, relisted it. As I said, I don't lose money on any of these sales, just my sanity because it annoys me. So those are the ones that have already closed. Then over here, I'll show you the ones that are open. All right, they opened a case on this Kindle. This was our own personal Kindle, only sold, I think, for like $20. We've had it forever. They said it doesn't have show mode. I don't even know what show mode is, but all I know is if you would have Googled Amazon Fire Kindle 8th edition, it would have told you what all specs it has, but you chose not to. These jeans are being returned because they're too small. This Chico's, obviously, I had measurements in the photos. This Chico's shirt is being returned because she ordered a size 2 and she wears a size 1. She said she didn't notice. She put in the search engine that she wanted a size 1 and she didn't realize it brought her up options of size 2. Like, how about read the listing? This bra, if you follow me on Instagram, I discussed in the stories. She is very upset with me because I didn't say that the bra was padded. Guys, look at the picture of that bra. It's padded, like it's standing up high on its own. Then we have this Rue 21 corset top. This is one of those items that had so many likers on Poshmark. It was insane. I was so glad when it finally sold on eBay. And she said, it's way too big. Quote, my breasts are falling out of it, end quote. I'm like, I didn't need that information. And then these weights just were delivered back to our P.O. box. Justin will pick them up today. He said they were cheap feeling. They're literally hunks of metal. I don't know how hunks of metal can feel different, but whatever. So those are all my 10 returns. 4 closed and 6 currently open. The 1 will close out today once Justin picks it up from the post office. To say I am annoyed by all these returns is an understatement. I know I'll get lots of comments because I did when I talked about this on Instagram. That's why I don't offer returns. When I didn't offer returns, instead, all the buyers just lied and opened an INAD case as item not as described. But just say item not as described, it doesn't fit in the comments. That's not an item not as described, but you can't get eBay to change it once they open it like that. You can report the buyer, but it doesn't save you any money. You are then forced to pay for the return. Plus, INADs go against your metrics, and you get so many, you lose top seller status. So that is why I switched to buyer pays returns and giving that as an option, because I was sick of all the INADs that were coming through. I sell a large volume of things. You know, we're at almost 2,000 sales for the year. So obviously if you're someone that, you know, sells like one item a day or even a couple items a week, you probably don't have to offer returns because the statistic chance of you getting returns is so much smaller just because your volume is so much lower. But when you're dealing with more of a volume-based business like we are, you kind of have to offer returns. So yes, I shouldn't be annoyed by them. I should just be like, whatever, comes back, just hit the relist button. I don't have to retake pictures. I don't have to do anything. But still, it's very disheartening, you know, when you sell something, pack it all up, think it's gone, and then you get the return request. It's post office issues. I don't know about you guys, but have you had some packages that are going all over the United States and then just freezing somewhere, but not where the person lives? So we've had this over probably the last 4 months. And we've had to refund numerous times. I've filed, you know, missing packages, searching for the packages. Eventually, I just get a note back saying, oh, we didn't find it. So then I tried to ask for a refund, but then they said it was too long because by the time you go through their mail search and everything, it's conveniently, it takes so long for that, then they won't let me open the return. So I guess I need to, or the insurance claim. So I need to just go straight to opening the insurance claim. Anyone has advice about that below? Or update from a few hours later. I watched a YouTube video on how to file a claim for a refund from the post office because I had never done that before. I did like missing mail searches and different things, and they all wanted like the receipts and various items. But the form to actually file a claim to get your money back seems very simple, except of course there was a hiccup because there's always a hiccup for me. So in my USPS account, I keep my home address because when I'm ordering the free supplies, I want it shipped to my house. So it is automatically entering that address in, but the address on the package was my PO box. So it said I had to change the address, like in my profile on the website, to the address that it was mailed from. So I went to my profile, I changed the address on USPS.com to my PO box, let me, you know, said, now when you go to my profile, that's what it shows. But every time I try to file the claim, it's still showing my home address, which the name and the address doesn't match anything that's on this package. So I'm like, they're not going to give it to me. So I am hoping that it's like one of those things where it takes like 24 hours for it to update in their system. But still, I figured out how to do it, but I can't do it because of the address. I'm going to bang my head off the wall. I have never filed a claim through the post office in all this time. I normally just eat it. I don't know. The whole process has been so confusing to me, and I've never really had it on an expensive item. So I've always just eaten the cost. But as you'll see, I'm about to talk about a couple items with issues. So right now we have a golf club lost from UPS. So this is my first time ever dealing with UPS losing an item. It's been sitting, it went from Pennsylvania to West Virginia, Pennsylvania to South Carolina, Pennsylvania, now to Georgia. I think Georgia's where it's supposed to be, but it has now sat in Georgia for like 2 days. So I don't know what's going on. We have the very expensive pair of Rothy shoes that we were so excited to sell. They are being returned to sender because it says insufficient address. No, address not found. The buyer says the address is correct. So I'm waiting to get it back, except that it said that it was being returned to sender on the 22nd. Today's the 25th and it has not tracked again. So that's an $85 order that is probably going to be lost in space. And then literally as I was recording the last segment, someone just opened an item not received case and they left me a neutral feedback saying that they did not get their weights yet and that they've been stuck since the 15th in the same spot. But they said in the neutral feedback, it wasn't my fault. Well, then why leave me a neutral feedback? Just open the case, have some communication with me. I didn't realize the weights hadn't arrived. When you sell the amount of stuff I do, something that you shipped 3 weeks ago hasn't been delivered, like I'm not scrolling every single day and checking every single item. I did in the beginning, when we sold a couple items here and there, but I don't keep track of that. That's why eBay has these systems set up. You don't get your item, you open a case, or even just, I have people message me all the time and then I'll tell them to open the case. But in this case, the guy just went straight to neutral feedback. I guess I should be glad he didn't leave a negative. Right. So what is the point of all this whining? I seriously am wondering if all of these returns is making eBay's algorithm say, those sellers aren't very good. Maybe we shouldn't push as much traffic to them. You might think that's insane, but I definitely have heard other resellers talk about this phenomenon that all of a sudden they had a bunch of returns and sales slowed down. So it makes you wonder. All right, here's the famous sales graph that has been updated. This is where the challenge started. We were like on fire, and then it definitely slowed down. This day looks way more impressive than it is. It's because Justin sold a pair of weights for like $169, but they also had $130 in shipping costs on it. And that is, shipping is included in this. So this day probably would be more down to this spot if it wasn't for the super high shipping on that item. But as you can see, when we started this challenge, look at those sales. But then at about this point, most of the returns got opened and then it really started slowing down. So could it be the returns? Is it just that, I know a lot of people are going to say, this is like the most popular time to vacation. Maybe that's true too. We have been consistent. We have been doing the same thing. We are only listing quality items. I did not go out and just start buying crap because I was desperate, to get my listings up for the day. So we have stayed consistent. So it's just a little disheartening when you're doing what they say you're supposed to do and then the sales still are slower. So there is an upside. We now have hundreds of items more in our store than we on average have. So that'll be great. Once the sales pick up, once fall and fourth quarter comes, all these items are already listed and they will sell. So that is a plus side.
All right, and here's the sales report for the first 24 days of June. We've sold 243 items. The total sales price, including tax, shipping, cost of goods, fees, all of that, is $8,607.15. What eBay is putting in our bank account is $4,807.99, and then obviously we have to subtract cost of goods and things like that. And if we go over to Poshmark, here's our stats for the month. We've sold 40 items so far for $786. So if we add, amounts together, we've sold 283 items. If you take this number right here, plus Poshmark, we're at about $5,500 before cost of goods for the month. I did want to talk about your return rate percentage. So if you go into Seller Hub, into Performance, you can go to a tab called your seller level. As you can see, I'm top rated seller, and if I was evaluated again today, I would be top rated. I have no defect rates for last shipping. As you can see, all my metrics are excellent. All right, and if you scroll down here, this is the return rate. So this is giving you a return rate for the last 3 months. So it's saying I had 23 returns out of 801 transactions. So my return rate is 2.87%. So I would love it if you guys would share in the comments, this, not just your return rate number, but how many transactions you had that this return rate is based on, just to kind of give me an idea if my number is super high, super low. I did just hear Commonwealth Picker talk about that his return rate was over 4%, so that made me feel a little bit better.
I forgot to talk about in the screenshot I just showed you with the sales for the total month, it is up 46.6% from last June. So the whole point of this challenge was to raise our sales from last June, and obviously we've done that. So I guess I should whine less, but that's not going to happen. I'm a sore loser. I like to do well. I like to achieve my goals. And though the goal was to raise the sales, and I've done that, I guess also in my mind, the goal was to like have an amazing month. And I'm a little disappointed in with how it's going. Today is the 25th. So we have today and then, you know, the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th to complete this challenge out. Maybe we'll be super busy. I feel like probably not. I know tons of people are out of town for 4th of July, so we might have already peaked, but I mean, I'm pretty confident we'll sell a few things from now till then. Sorry this video was negative and whiny, but I feel like a lot of you have always said you appreciate me keeping it real, and this is where we're at right now. We're in return hell. I'm hoping the next video, we're going to end on a bang. We're going to talk about all the positives from this challenge. I mean, there's definitely negatives, as I've stated today, but I feel like in the end, I'll be able to look back and see tons of positives from doing this. I am excited to rest a little bit in July. I'm hoping to go camping for 4th of July and, you know, kind of chill for a little bit because it's been an intense month. All right, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. As I said, if you could leave in the comments below what your return rate is and like based on how many items, you know, you've sold, I would appreciate it because I would just love to see everybody's numbers, you know, just to kind of compare. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.